Hey, RetconRaider here, and welcome back to Battle Brothers Season 3. As today, we took a bit of a beating last time around, but that's just par for the course with Battle Brothers. It's not called Cuddle Brothers. And all things considered, it certainly could have been worse. As battered and broken as we are, we're all still alive, minus a finger or two. So we pick ourselves up, dust ourselves off, and get back out there. Though, as previously alluded, we will take this opportunity to dose up on a couple of extra potions. And I can think of none more deserving than Verlin for our ultimate elixir. This fantastic concoction is the pinnacle of what research on human anatomy has yielded. The few who know of its existence claim that to consume it is to ascend to a higher state of being, something beyond a mere human. Apotheosis. This character has consumed a particularly powerful stimulant. While the delivery mechanism itself is revolutionary, the drug itself is not as powerful as the grandeur of its name suggests. Yeah, divinity's just not all it's cracked up to be. But hey, plus one's a plus one. And then, aside from that, as also previously alluded, we're going to go ahead and bank Shield Expert, something which might have actually saved his fingers last time around. Better late than never. And then, as for Drakiith, again, really no idea where I'm taking him long-term, but short-term, thematically, it does feel appropriate to give him the Bloodgate brew, since he is our resident flagellant. Much like the poison resistance on random, it's something that'll only very sporadically come up, but when it does, it'll be a very pleasant surprise. Which equates to subdermal clotting. When this character's skin is broken, a substance is secreted that drastically quickens the blood clotting process in the area. Bleeding wounds are much less harmful as a result, although some blood loss still occurs. Which frees up a couple of slots, but the rest of our potions I think are too potent for these lowly adventurers. We're holding on to them until we get some folks trained up to a more suitable level. I hate to do it, but we do need tools, so we'll grab one stack, despite the outrageous price, and then immediately try to offset that expense. Let's see what we got. Haitian Al-Abbas of Ras Sanan is standing over a map so enormous that it cannot fit on any table. Beasts have set upon this part of the realm and are seeing to its destruction in a manner that I have not agreed to. So I need a man such as yourself, Crowdling, to see to these roaming monsters. What's the pay? 570 crowns to see the contract done. Sounds good to me. I mean, a one skull, that's got to be either hyenas or serpents, both of which we do need. Getting paid to actually hunt them down is just a bonus. Once again, it doesn't take the raiders long to track down their would-be prey. The hyenas are not the most creative ambush predators. Instead, stalking the sands alongside the main trade route just north of the city. Spying the raiders from afar, they are promptly greeted by a bow shot from Arrow, tearing into one of the beast's thick, matted hides. That's all it takes to provoke the rest of its bloodthirsty brethren. They boil forth over the crest of a nearby dune, in a furious frenzy of motion. Rev steps up, jabbing at them from one side. A stab in the shoulder, steering the pack as one, towards the raiders' front line. The rest of the raiders step up, shields at the ready. A swing from Rassel snaps one of the beast's legs like a twig. Val steps up behind it, javelin hefted in his hand. A fling, and it glances off a second beast as well. And thusly contained. The raiders begin their assault in earnest. Rook drops the badly wounded beast on the north. Arrow takes aim. One shot sinking deep into a hyena's haunches. The rest of the brutes gnash and tear at the raiders' shields. Their sheer weight alone forcing them back a half step. The one canny beast circles wide, only to catch a javelin for its trouble. Hobbled by the toss, it's easy prey for another, dropping to the ground as the assault on the rest continues. Preoccupied with Rassel, a beast on the north finds one of its legs lopped off by a deft swing from Trip. Its morale broken, it turns to flee. Rook tears down another, impaled upon his pike. And Random just keeps his shield at the ready. Best not tempt fate. He's literally covered in dog treats. Another toss from Valen, another beast, broken. Bowman steps up, sinking another arrow into an attacking beast's chest. Rook likewise pierces another, the tip of his pike gouging between barrel-chested ribs. And Random holds. Really got to get him a better shield, though. Rev drops another beast on the north, and the pack is broken. As one, they scamper and flee. Though Trip is quick to step in. A swipe of his blade, a beast's side split, entrails spilling into the sand. A swing from Annie cracks ribs, drives another brute to the ground. And so it goes. One by one, the beasts fall. A grim fate to be certain, but no less grim than that of the people the pack had previously stumbled upon. Nice and clean. Couple of minor bumps and bruises here and there, but nothing too serious. And look at that. 2 pelts and 2 stacks of food. Not too shabby for like 5 minutes work. The hyenas are contemptuous creatures, but they are tough. Even in death, you find yourself having to hack and chop at the necks just to gain some purchase there, and sawing the heads free requires even more time. But soon the deed is done, and you're ready to take the pates and pelts back to Ancient Alabis of Ras-Sanan. Nicely done, Raiders. Let's head on back. We've got crowns to collect. So, straight back, collect our pay, and then I guess check out that other contract. Ancient Alabis of Ras-Sanan stands at his door. though you are kept at a good distance. His servants instead are the ones to greet you. They take the hyena scalps and loft them into silvered wheelbarrows. The servants scamper the goods back across the yard and disappear just as soon as they came. The vizier whistles like a hawk bearing down on its prey. You twitch for a second, but all that comes is another pair of servants carrying a trove of crowns. One looks to the sky as he recites, "Crownling, this job you have done well. See to the chest, and you will find your purse swell." The servant clicks his tongue and looks down, grinning wildly. Well, I can't say much for your poetry, but I do appreciate a man who can coin a phrase. Which puts us at 3,600. Oh, but we are still critically low on tools. Let's see if we can coast on what we've got till we clear those trade routes. Which this should hopefully do. Though hopefully it is not another necromancer, but, we'll see. Ancient Abalos of Rassanan is partly sitting on a throne of silken cushions, and partly on the bodies of a harem of attractive women. He puts his hand up. "If you step further, Crownling, then you will grow in sight but diminish in view. Understand? A smart man knows his place. I have a simple task for your sword hand. Nomads outside Rassanan have taken to thievery and thuggery. For a handsome hansel, I need you to annihilate these men, who have made my life uncomfortable." Oof, 1,000 gold. That certainly implies we're going to get hit with another surprise twist. Not necessarily a necromancer, it could also be an assassin or a named character. Hard to say if we can handle that in our current condition, but we've got to at least try. Actually, what we can do is put the job on hold, then take out the camp without the contract active, which would avoid the twist, but would also mean skipping our payday. No, we'll take it. No risk, no reward. Such is the way of the raider. Alright, let's see what we got. Though, we will, we will hedge our bets a bit. First of all, we'll get all the way out there and see if anyone's ready to come back off the bench. And then I think we'll also swap in all of our... Oh, nice. An extra non-combat follower slot. What's that bring us up to now? 3? Yes. We've got a modest assortment of options unlocked, though nothing that really jumps out at me right now. Negotiator's not bad, but it's also not great. Surgeon's okay, but permanent injuries can still be a career ender. The faster recovery time is nice, though. I think long-term we're better off with stuff like the Paymaster, the Trader, or possibly the Recruiter, though that one requires jumping through a lot of hoops to unlock. We'll just let future Retcon worry about that. And then yes, as for hedging our bets here. First of all, we do have a couple who are potentially ready to come back in off the bench. We'll hold off on Cetrus. He's still at 2/3. How about you, McLeod? No, too risky. So we'll go with what we got. Though we will, however, just in case it is another necromancer, hedge our bets by going for maximum cleavage. I really should start training a couple of guys up to be cleaver specialists. Maybe that's what we'll do with Drakiith. Alright, let's give it a peek. To those who are about to die, etc., etc. Oh, wait. Huh. I really didn't think it would just let us see who was in there. Okay, well, in that case, the cleavers are kind of unnecessary, but I've already got them equipped, so what the heck. I guess we'll go in with them and take on our first nomad leader. Weird. Cleavers gripped in hand, the raiders spy on the camp from afar. Only to find to their surprise that for once it's actually inhabited by living men, and not undead mockeries. The thought is briefly circulated of stowing their cleavers, but no. A single-edged blade should kill a man as easily as an undead. Some might say even more easily. And thus, with cleavers clenched firmly in hand, they descend upon their prey. And there's our leader, Gottlieb the Red. That is some very nice armor. The raiders engage, cleavers slashing and flashing. Hide torn, the flesh beneath scored. Blood flows freely, running down tattered limbs and staining the sand beneath. Val steps up. A heavy axe whips end over end, burying itself in a startled swordsman's forehead. Rook steps up, pike flashing, gouging into a banded axeman's side. The other axeman steps forward, a mighty swing of his axe, clattering off shields, but clipping the top off Annie's helm. Bowman rains arrows over the battlefield. And all the while, Gottlieb the Red hangs back, letting his hapless men take the brunt of the initial exchange. Gottlieb moves ever closer, but Rev ignores him for a moment, disemboweling another axeman. Bloodied and mortally wounded, the man drops to his knees. And with a sweep of his cleaver, Rassel lops off his head. Rook presses forward, gouging his pike into the next nomad in line. Random moves up as well. A sweep of his blade, and the bandit reels, clutching his sundered belly. The nomad archer breaks and runs, sprinting off to one side. The one eye stays trained on the raiders, bow still yet held ready. Val eyes that stubborn scoundrel, then lobs an axe, cutting down one of his panicking partners. Bowman takes aim. An arrow arcs, sinking deep into the fleeing archer's side. Rook finishes off the badly injured shieldman, opening a path to the bludgeoner beyond. Shoot. With the rest of his band in literal tatters. Waleed is clearly having second thoughts about having engaged. But the raiders start circling. A wild flail of his club clips Rev's helmet, briefly stunning the anatomist. But the rest of the raiders move in, keen to capitalize on Waleed's dire mistake. And he circles to the side. A harsh shove, and Waleed is sent reeling backward, stumbling into a trough of firewood. The archer scampers back, bleeding like a stuck pig, but reluctant to give Bowman an easy shot. Rook moves in from the side, pike piercing the bandit bludgeoner, catching him just below the arm and rupturing his heart. The rest of the raiders carefully surround Waleed the Red, trying to cut off his avenues of escape. Cleaver stowed, knives drawn and readied. The bandit shuffles nervously. A startled yelp escaping his lips as the last of his men is gruesomely decapitated behind him. Another panicked flail of his club. Random stumbles, briefly dazed. But Annie steps up, cutting off his last chance at escape. And thus begins the bloody harvest. Raiders carefully picking their shots. Though clearly skilled, Waleed only has so many limbs, and but a singular shield. He wards off the first few probing strikes. His glinting, gilded shield easily deflecting the blows and an errant arrow. But those were mere distractions, meant to hold his attention, whilst the other raiders readied their own strikes from behind. Spying an opening, Valin finally lets his net fly. A simple fishing instrument, and yet still just as well suited to capture a man. His movements suddenly hampered. Waleed feels the first of many stings. A quick stab from Annie to his right. A mere flesh wound, but a taste of things to come. More arrows clatter off his shield, keeping him disoriented. His defenses angled in the wrong direction. Oh, shoot. No, that's not right. Random. Dagger. Exhausted now, movement sluggish neath heavy hemp. Waleed is easy prey. Another blade slips neath his armor, this time piercing muscles at his side. A stab from his right digs up beneath his shoulder blade. Another pierces his chest, but he stubbornly clings to life. And then, blade buried to the hilt in his back. He finally falls. And look at that! Our efforts were not in vain. A bit dinged and dented, but that'll be nice once we start bringing in a battle forged or two. At least early on. I mean, obviously there's better stuff long term. We also pulled his mace, very nice. That'll be a decent upgrade for Rassel. And we got his shield, our first Sipar shield, which is a step up from our current wooden garbage. That'll be a good get for Verlin, since he's now our dedicated shield bro, or the first of them anyway. With, I think, Diego set to follow in his footsteps. Heavy Mace goes to Rassel. Actually, you know what? Let's just head on back. I'll break for bookkeeping once we're back in Rassanan. Yeah, I've got my eye on that assassin that's up for hire. But I'll have to do some wrangling to make sure we can actually afford him. That is not a cheap hire. Especially since we're also still in dire need of tools. A servant heads you off from meeting Ashen Alabas of Rassanan. He hands you a scroll as well as a satchel, before making it very clear that your business here is done. Fair enough, we've got what we came for. Wish I could say it was a pleasure, but at least we got paid. Let's check local prices. Okay, that is significantly better. That's like a 110 gold drop. That should keep us going for a while. Okay. You know what? I think I can make this work. Let me shuffle some things around and I'll see what I can do. And we're back with a big raider welcome to our most expensive hire to date. Say hello to Zarmal the Assassin, clocking in at a whopping 4,000 gold recruitment fee. Though I've got to say, with Iron Lungs, I think he was well worth the price. And it's not just Iron Lungs, although that is fantastic in and of itself, but also some pretty decent star placement. I mean, don't get me wrong, I would have liked if his melee had started a bit higher, but with 2 stars in all the right places, I feel like he's got some pretty serious potential. The only real downside is that he came in at level 1, so, you know, it'll take a while to really get him up to snuff. Also, that hefty price tag was not just for him. The bulk of it was actually for his gear. Our first Catal, and then perhaps more notably, Assassin's Robe. Quite possibly one of the best non-unique nimble armors in the game. Between those and the flashbang he was carrying, that alone is 3,000 gold worth of gear. So yeah, as expensive as it was, I think I'm pretty happy with that hire. Welcome aboard, Zarmal. Here's hoping we can keep you alive long enough to actually get you going. Speaking of which, we've only got 2 days left on the clock before that big day 40 difficulty spike, so we've got to get a move on. And, you know, my original plan was to head straight north, cut across to Matterfest, then counterclockwise back around the loop. However, at this point, I'm not sure that's worth doing. It's 2 days just across the desert here, with no guarantees we'll find targets of opportunity worth our time. So, you know, between that and the fact that we still need one more city-state contract for our current ambition, I think we'll just head back for Hikmah. Try to get this ambition cleared up, hopefully make some cash in the process. We still need another range guy. I really would like to get a gunner online. Maybe even 2 if we can swing it. If not in Hikmah, then perhaps in Wallen. I do seem to recall we saw a hunter spawn there once. But, you know, we'll take it one step at a time. Hit the road for Hikmah. And then see what happens. Also, I guess we do have a bunch of Fog of War right here. We already cleared a camp here, which means there's nothing within a certain range of it, but in theory, we might find something further south. Yeah, let's... We won't stray too far. We'll kind of keep angling towards Hikmah, but I would like to sort of trim off some fog here. Oh, here we go. Wandering Kingdom. Many nomad outlaws, a few nomad archers, and another nomad leader. Many, that's like 6 to 8. A few is like 3 or 4. Yeah, we'll take a stab at it. We'll pull McLeod, he's a bit too vulnerable. Verlin, I think, can come back in. He's down a bit, but not too much. Rassel might have a hard time with this one. Oh no, Pole Cetrus. Rassel's got the edge on range defense. I think long term, though, Rassel might need to go Pole Mace. I think Mace specialization with Pole Mace for backline bonking. We'll tag Tommy back in. Risky, but he needs XP. And Verlin slotted back in. Yeah, Verlin on south with 40. Trip on north with 30 plus. 36. Not too shabby. Alright, Raiders, let's settle in, wait for nightfall. Take these guys out. Let me just craft some narrative here. Following an ill-advised shortcut to Hikmah, the Raiders soon find themselves stumbling around blindly in the desert at night. They soon spy dim lights flickering in the distance. But as they draw closer, they see that it's no desert dwelling, but rather another nomad camp. Bandits. Well off the beaten path, no doubt filled with a false sense of security in their isolation. The Raiders grumble and groan and set to start stalking back in the opposite direction, back towards what they presume must be more civilized territories. But then, Arrow utters, "You know, if we were to attack them, this would be the time to do it. They wouldn't be expecting it." A collective sigh goes up, but the Raiders know he's right. Weapons drawn, the Raiders skulk into the camp. Sadly, the approach is not as stealthy as they might have liked. The rattle of chains, the footfall of heavy boots, a muffled bark or two from Warrior as he paces anxiously, and the nomads are roused. They hastily clamber from bedrolls, eyes heavy with sleep, weapons held in clumsy grips. Ooh, a triple-headed flail. We want that. Drakiith strikes first. Blade flashing. A bandit bludgeoner thrown off balance. Rook follows through. Pike piercing the man's chest. Blood flecking his lips as he utters a startled wheeze. And from behind the growing throng of nomads, Amira the Red emerges. Didn't we already kill you? No, that was Wallen. Siblings, perhaps. We'll do our best to get them reunited. Rev steps up next, Pike impaling an errant axeman's hand. Gotta be wary of that axe. That thing can one-shot most of our shields. Dang it. Verlin steps up on the south, plunging his spear through a bandit bludgeoner's bicep. God, Gosh darn it. Guys, come on. Lines are drawn. The nomads hastily blinking away sleep. The pained cries of their comrades pumping adrenaline through their veins. The fleeting advantage of surprise has quickly faded. And now there is naught but hard-fought carnage. Bowman glides forward, sand crunching underfoot, a quickly loosed arrow catching the badly wounded bludgeoner in the throat. His cry cut short as he folds to the ground. Gotta be very careful with Zarmal and Tommy. They are both low level. They cannot... Oh, shit. Alright, well, I mean, he's still got 10 defense, so... The nomads finally rally, swinging away at the shadowy figures. An axe finds its way into Trip's shield. The tarred wood splintering, the thief casting it aside. Amira runs blindly through the darkness, trying to get a better glimpse at the aggressors that have laid siege to his camp. And the raiders push back. A flash of Rev's pike. The axeman drops, gurgling. Valen squints in the darkness, not blessed with the same uncanny night vision as his archer ally. A careful toss. His efforts rewarded by a sudden yelp, Annie rushing its source. Their attention stays focused on that lovely flail. Zarmal strikes past the clutter of the camp, catching a poleman off guard, ancient pike biting deep. Arrow carefully scans the field, then pops a shot into the nearest shieldman. A guttural groan sounding from the gut-shot man's lips. Unhindered by shield, Trip carves a bloody gash across the bandit flailman's face. Verlin advances, killing the gut-shot shieldman in passing. Random readies his shield, eyeing that swaying pole mace. Rassel kicks back a swordsman on the north, quickly moving to fill the void. A risky position to take, but he just needs to hold for a moment. Just long enough to clear the archer, the flailman, and isolate Amira. Tommy's mace finds a bandit's leg, the stricken flailman going down to one knee. He's lashed for his troubles, but his padded armor takes the sting from the blow. Amira grabs the wounded flailman, throwing him back into the sand and stepping up in his place. A flash of his blade, catching Trip in the side, but the edge turned away by the concealed chain weave. Zarmal steps up. A tentative stab turned aside, and a sharp swing of a nomad's mace leaves Verlin momentarily reeling. Bowman grunts, firing past him. More arrows sent into the densest throng. His shot finds an enemy archer's hand. On the north, Rev fells the wounded flailman. Amira's efforts in vain. And Annie batters a hapless archer to the ground. Amira stands alone. The fight, however, is far from over. Several nomads still stand on the south, half the raiders holding them at bay. A swing of a pole mace comes in low, the crunch of Random's ankle, sending him hobbling to one side. Sand flies, eyes stung, armor scored, and Zarmal's blade temporarily yanked from his grip. But otherwise, the raiders largely escape unscathed. But for poor Random, of course. And the raiders push back. The first few thrusts of a dagger thwarted. Tommy eschews subtlety. A swing of the pole mace, and Amira's armor is all but shattered. And he follows Amira's lead. A swing of the flail wrapping around his shield, crushing one hand. A follow-up swing crushing the other as well. The nomad leader is effectively disarmed. Rook lunges forward, pike puncturing yet another eye. The bandit reels, stumbling, half blind. A sweep of Drakiith's blade catches him in the neck. Head and body separated at the seam. The shieldman behind him barely has time to gawp at the spectacle before Verlin puts him down as well. 2 quick thrusts perforating his chest. Random falters, winded and wounded, favoring one leg. He's not out of the fight, but he is definitely slowed. So he hangs back a bit, letting other raiders take the lead. Amira tries to flee, catching a flail to the back of the skull for his trouble. His death goes unnoticed by the rest of the nomads as they grimly fight to survive. Rev impales another outlaw, breaking the man's morale. Trip leaps in, curved dagger biting deep into the man's arm, carving muscle away from bone, leaving one limb hanging limp at his side. Zarmal tears into another, a shieldman turning to flee. A whirl of Tommy's pole mace. The one-armed lasher falls. The archers shuffle uneasily, one taking half a step back before catching an arrow through the eye. And he shoves his corpse aside as it falls. A swing of her mace crushing a shieldman's hand. And the raiders advance, ruthlessly dispatching the last of their foes. The last nomad archer spots his chance, sprinting into the darkness with wild abandon. No thought given to where he's going. Just the overriding urge to escape. The raiders take a few faltering steps after him, but ultimately let him go. though arrow does take a parting shot. Sadly hampered by a hanging tapestry. The archer vanishes into the shadows. As the last of his remaining allies meets a bloody and horrific fate. Yeah, if we had McLeod with us, we could sick warrior on this guy, but as it stands, I think we're done. Oh man, and look at all those level ups. Including at least a few characters I know are hitting level 7. So Nimble finally joins the fray. Oh, come on. And we lost the three-headed flail? Man. Well, at least we still got some halfway decent loot. Trade goods, silver bowl, couple of Sipar shields. Decent stack of gold. Yep, all things considered, definitely not bad. I will say, though, we definitely had a bit of a scare there early on when Trip lost his shield on, like, turn 2. And things did get slightly dicey towards the end. They got in some pretty nasty late hits there on Rassel and Drakiith both. Though their armor ate the bulk of it. So yeah, aside from some repairs, really it's just Random's leg wound. A far cry from the carnage of the other camp assault that cost us a few fingers. That said, with day 40 looming, I feel like this is a good place to call it. We'll hit the pause button for now. I'll take care of the usual off-screen bookkeeping, shuffle some gear around, figure out these level ups. And we'll pick up here next time, as it officially hits the fan. Believe it or not, the game's actually been going easy on us thus far. But as of day 16, all bets are off. See you then. Oh, and special thanks to the Raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible, including but not limited to Erie V23, Revenant, Alois, Arrow Bowman, Dragon Matrix 7, Drakiith, EgonAlter, Exsellsior, Gottlieb, James Trimmier, Kazorm, Lady Shayna, Mark Giemza, Nathan Welch Jr., OverlordPherom, RandomPassrby, RobbyB, Tomasz Piątkowski, Triphoppenskip, and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, if you'd also like to help support the channel, then feel free to push the buttons that do the things. Trust me, it does make a difference. Or you could even check out the PayPal, the Patreon, the Nexus GG, or the YouTube memberships. Links are in the description.